Today on the channel, it's Fright Night with Fright Zone, Masters of the Universe Origins.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Masters of the Universe unboxing and review. And today we're back to Mattel. We're back to the Origins line, and we got the latest and greatest play set in the Fright Zone. But for all your Fright Zone needs and everything else under the sun, hit up jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Got to get a deal out there, and these may be gone from Jay's by now. Took me about a week to get around to unboxing this one as I've been traveling for work. Give me a break out there. But you guys know how we do. We do this video like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And anxious to get this one out of the package, as you guys aren't going to believe this. Todd, you're not going to believe this from the couch. I'm going to blow some minds out there. I have never laid hands on a Fright Zone in my entire life. Yes, it's true. I've touched a lot of toys. And I've rocked a million faces or something like that, like Bon Jovi. Not like Bon Jovi. Not like Bon Jovi. But I've touched a lot of toys in my days, but I've never laid hands on the Fright Zone. Obviously, I've seen it. I've seen that puppet. I've seen all that kind of stuff. But I never owned it as a kid. I never had a friend as a little kid that had one of these. So the only time I ever saw it was like in a toy shop or something. So I never got a chance to really have a battle with the Fright Zone. But I've heard some stories, and it sounded like a fun time. Definitely jealous, of course. But of course, I'm excited to jump into this one. A new remake of the Fright Zone. Maybe bigger, maybe badder, maybe bolder. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we're going to dive into it. And of course, we're going to start off with the packaging here. Got to celebrate Hordak, the evil horde, Fright Zone. Trap-filled stronghold of terror. Right there. That's what we got going on. Celebrating the 40th anniversary of She-Ra, the Princess of Power. And we can celebrate it with all of our 6-year-old friends. As you 5-year-olds, you're not invited to the party. Apologize right now, but that's the way it goes. Beautiful artwork right here. You got Hordak, you got Skeletor, you got the Tree of Woe like a young Kevin Sullivan. Of course, you got He-Man battle armor. He's fighting to just survive here with the old lizard action going on. You got Leech and Man-at-Arms. You got Orko, Mantenna hanging out. The Green Goddess herself, Grizzlor and Beastman, an epic hairy bipedal creature battle for the ages. All kinds of stuff going on here. And when you're a little kid and you look at artwork like this, you just sit there and you stare at it. You look at it all day long. Finally, your eyes get tired and you move over to that Iron Maiden Somewhere in Time album cover. You just do that. That's what you did when you were a kid. You didn't scroll your phone. You just stared at the artwork. That's what you did. We all been there. We've been there. On the side over here, we got a little bit of wraparound action. Look at that. We got Modulok and we got a little slime pit back there. Probably a little Easter egg to the future, I would have to imagine with that. And then over here, we got Triclops. Look at him doing all kinds of Triclop-like things over there. Whatever a Triclops is up to. Some action features on the side. Got some of that going on. You know we're here for that. We got some Jibber. We got some Jabber. We got some you got some UFCs right here. Or some UPCs. And then we got the play set right there, plus that creature. Not sure if that creature got a name. On the back, filled with nightmarish surprises, Hordak's sinister Fright Zone is feared across Etheria. There you go. But then there's the actual figures. Instead of the artwork, we got a little bit of the action going on. So I think it is really, really cool. They depict the same scene except with action figures this time. Interesting, they didn't swap in the Green Goddess version over there. But very, very cool. I love that they did that. That is a really fun thing. Really fun way to go about business there between the artwork and the figures. But let's get it out of the package. Let's, dare I say, see what all the fuss is about. And you know there's fuss anytime we get a play set. A play set was always a game changer when you were a little kid. We know how that goes. Is this going to kill me here? See you later off to the side. When you got a new play set, a headquarters, I don't care if we're talking the Hall of Justice, we're talking the aircraft carrier, we're talking the Defiant, we're talking the Batcave, whatever it may have been, man, oh man, you're just like, oh, when I get home, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to have a base of operations. It was a big, big deal. And speaking of big deals, look at this. This looks like just a big mess in a cardboard box is what this looks like. Thankfully, we've got instructions, and I'm going to have to get pretty intimate with these instructions here in a second because we're going to have to put this thing together, and I'm definitely putting it together offline. All right, let's dive in. We got the Fright Zone put together. All in all, went together fairly easily. I would say this thing had some challenges for a few parts here, but nothing too wild. The pin's a little bit harder for me to get into. Your mileage may vary, but one thing I forgot or didn't know about, either or I guess, is the base on the Fright Zone here, this front base that plugs in, locks in. You can take that out and move it to the back, so you can kind of choose your own Fright Zone adventure at the end of the day. So there's the extra playability features with this one, and if you're a hardcore, you get two of them, display both looks, have them connect to each other, and you're off to the Fright Zone races. But let's dive into it, and I guess let's start with our little reptile friend first. How about? Once upon a time, a puppet, now a full-on plastic creature here. And very cool, almost reminds you of the Battle Bones, kind of. I mean, obviously it's not the Battle Bones, but a cool sub-feature, and you could use that to store your guys in the Battle Bones, and you could also use it off to war and have it as a creature. And this is another creature from the Masters of the Universe, which is a line we see a lot in the artwork, but we don't get a lot of creatures in our collection. So it is cool to get a guy like this. Now you can have him just walking around in your normal Eternia setup, or have him part of the Fright Zone, of course, as you guys know. But I really like the looks of this guy. There's a lot more to this than I thought. Start with the head here. You got those big old ugly eyes there, reptilian eyes. Got the teeth going on, looking really cool. And then you got that mouth articulation. How cool is that? That opens up to chew. Got that big old tongue, some spikes down low. You got the spike all the way on the back like a dinosaur, all the way down to the tail. And the tail does rotate, as you can see right there. You also get the articulation in the head and the neck. Always cool to see that. And then each leg has articulation all the way down to the feet articulation on him. So a big lizard that adds extra playability to this. You can sick him on somebody. You can have him peeking his head through here. You can have him off onto the side fighting He-Man or whoever. There's a lot of cool stuff with this. So very, very fun. I like this a whole lot. Looks very good with that reptilian creature. But now we're diving into the Fright Zone, and I guess we'll just start at the top, work our way down, and we'll start with the front end of the Fright Zone. First thing we get is the tree going on. So you get the tree right here. Very creepy tree. It almost reminds you of those trees from Lord of the Rings. They're going to get up and walk on out of here, join the battle maybe. But you got the face in there and the mouth, and very cool here. You can adjust, and you can have him full-on mouth there ready to attack. Obviously, a lot of tree branches on this. You get the articulation on the arms. That's always cool to see. And you can store He-Man or Man-at-Arms. You can have them caught up in the tree. Dare I say the tree of woe once again. You also get some birds, some ravens maybe. You get 3 of those. You can take them off. You can put them wherever you want to. Put them, do whatever you want. Another added value feature. And more animals along with our reptilian friend over here. But very cool to see this tree. Really like the playability of that. And then you get down into here. You get a tree branch off of here that does move up and down. You can catch He-Man by the foot and hang him over the pit right here. And he can be just eaten alive. Step in here and oh no, watch out. So you have that option. You can move it up, move it down, side to side, whatever you want to do. Now you do got a rocky terrain right here. Green and then a darker green over the top. Looks like something dingy, dirty, like it'd be in the corner of a swamp or something like that. A lot like what the old Fright Zone looked like, but added features to this one, of course. Looks good with some of the vinage going in on here as well. Got the rock and the points all over the place. Even some steps if you wanted to pretend it's steps up to here so you can climb. Obviously, get your character. I got a He-Man right here. He could be climbing up, working his way up to the top of the Fright Zone, and trouble at every corner, as we know as well. Now, you do get a door here. I guess a door, a hole. And that's where you can stick our friend right here. He could be poking his head right through there, just like the puppet of old. You put your hand in there, but now you got this guy. So you can store him there. You can leave him out. You can choose your own reptilian adventure, of course. And then over here is the jail. So a very primitive jail with some vines and stuff. Of course, arms open like that. You got some texture inside of here. You got some chains sculpted in. Very, very cool there. But always nice to have a jail to store somebody in, put somebody in, lock He-Man away, do whatever you want to do there. But it looks really good. Now moving to the side here, we see it right over here. Another monstrous face with some big old teeth, some reptilian eyes. And on the instructions, it says it's a hidden passageway. So I guess you slide He-Man through there. You could sneak into the Fright Zone if you wanted to. But some extra playability features over there as well. Nothing too crazy on this side here. But then, of course, you flip it to the back. Now, once again, the rocky terrain, you can slip that in, put it on this side if you want to. Once again, you get some extra playability here. Now, you do get the arm here, too. You take that out. You can kind of fold this back up if you want to. So it is nice for storage and everything else along the way. But starting over here, you got a little pocket to have somebody stand in if you want to. You got a little bit of a mouth coming out of here. You even get an armory with 3 weapons that came along with this playset. That's pretty cool added feature. Some added weapons if that is needed along the way. Then you do get this jail. You can pop this jail out and you can put it on the opposite side if you want to. So it can go back, forth, whatever way you want it to go, depending on how you're playing with this. Rocky terrain down here once again, and then like another jail clasp over here. You can lock a character up in there. So there is extra features here. And on top of, just battle and play around this thing, there are some extra things that will get you and capture you in the Fright Zone. And then last but not least, right up here on the opposite side of the tree, you do get a throne from Hordak. So I guess he can look over the Fright Zone, do whatever he wants. It can also be risen up here, I believe. Maybe. It was doing it earlier, I thought. Maybe not. Uh-oh, pulling off that, but you can, and I guess not. I was thinking it could raise up, but I guess I was dreaming on that. It's just a straight-up throne. For some reason, I thought it had an action feature, but does not have that there. Put one of those ravens on that branch. But you do got a throne for Hordak here. He can lead from the top of the Fright Zone if he wants to. So a lot of playability features with this one, and it's kind of fun. As I mentioned earlier, this one up for pre-order 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever time is at this point in time. And I said to myself, I'm going to get this. And you kind of set it and forget it. It comes. Now you see all the features. You get to see what's going on with this. A lot of cool stuff going on. There's no doubt about it. Just got to figure out where I'm going to put this, as it is a little bit bigger than I was anticipating. It's nowhere near an Eternia size. And I guess it's kind of like a Castle Grayskull in size. Maybe not the same height between the 2 towers, but kind of that same little stance there. So I'll have to find a spot for it to display it on my table. But it is cool. It gives some extra added features. I would have liked to have seen some pegs throughout here to put the figures. Obviously, you want He-Man here. Would have been nice to be able to peg him in so he could stay. We've seen that before from the Masters of the Universe Origin, so would have been nice to have some pegs throughout on this one. Not absolutely the end of the world, but would have been another little easy added feature they could have done. I wouldn't say this feels super, super sturdy, like it's the most strong plastic in the world. It feels like little kids' plastic, but I think in this day and age, it does get the job done. But I think there's loads of playability features here. And even this guy alone is a heck of a value. So for a little over $100 and change, this isn't a bad value at all. Knowing what we know with pricing of everything this day and age, just with this guy here and some of the other features, really feels like a good value for what we're dealing with in here 2025 with the cost of action figures, toys, play sets in this example. So definitely worth picking up. I know this was sold on Mattel Creations as well. That's where I missed it. I was actually in a conference call, so I missed out on it. Thankfully, though, Jay's Toys and Games did have some of these. And like I said, not sure if they still have them in stock, but wouldn't be shocked if you poke around, you could probably find one of these. And I don't think the Mattel Creation ones, as of filming, I don't think they have shipped out yet. So those should be coming very soon. But the Fright Zone, not a bad piece of business. I'm here for this. Now we wait. The next playset, I guess, will be the Snake Lair. So we'll see where that one goes. Be interesting when we get the Slime Pit as well. Have to think that's coming with them showing it on the box. Have to think that's in our future as well. But there's the Fright Zone. Be interested to hear your thoughts. Be interested to hear your thoughts if you were an OG Fright Zone fan. How's this one compare to you all these years later? Maybe not the nostalgia of playing with it in your childhood, but I think this looks pretty good from at least a guy on the outside looking in on that one there. But very, very fun. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bells. We got videos every single day. And then some. We got even more content for you, of course, over on Patreon. Patreon, the best way to support this YouTube channel. And all the content it does bring, plenty of stuff to keep you busy each and every single day. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, The Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com if you want to email me. Check out my book, The Jakks Complete Guide to Classic Superstar Series and the ECW Original San Francisco Toy Maker Series, both available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And don't forget my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, each and every single Tuesday, wherever podcasts are found, with bonus video cast on YouTube. Ooh, a mouthful right there. But there it is for the Fright Zone. I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we going to dance or are we going to play?